everybody. I'm Lara Trump, coming to you from Studio 45 at Trump Tower in New York City. As we get closer to the midterm elections, the radicalism of the Democrats reaches a new and desperate level every single day. Joining me to discuss the hysteria of the left and the midterm elections is a radio talk show host and conservative commentator, John Fredericks. John, thanks so much for being in Studio 45 with us. We really appreciate it.
Laura, thanks for having me, and your studio looks absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I want to start by talking about something that is on everyone's minds right now, the confirmation for, hopefully, Justice Kavanaugh. The Democrats have played everything, in my opinion, in as wrong as they possibly could. And from the standpoint of the average American, you know, what are you hearing out there from people? What is your take on the way that the Democrats have behaved?
Well, it's outrageous, Laura, and it's going to backfire in the midterms. This is really the problem the Democrats have right now in overplaying their hand. I mean, we have a rule of law in this country and a justice system that has stood very well for a very long time. And the first thing about it is, when you're accused of something, you have the opportunity to defend yourself, and the accuser has to prove it. Now we've gone to a system where it's gender-based, basically. If you're a female and you accuse someone, then you're presumed guilty immediately. This turns our system upside down. The Democrats' hysteria and desperation to stop this nomination goes beyond just Brett Kavanaugh. That's why I think going into the fall, assuming he's confirmed, this is really going to backfire for them. And the Democrats are going to look back at these 2 weeks and say, this is the reason we blew it.
Yeah, big mistake on their part. And, you know, as a citizen of this country, just watching this nonsense play out day after day and seeing that there really is no low that's too low for the Democrats right now. I mean, Dianne Feinstein had the information weeks and weeks ago. She sat on it for a couple of months, apparently, and then in the 11th hour, pulled out this information of this woman who said she did not want to be out there in the public, did not want this publicized, and they're using her to try and stop this nomination. There is a process in place in this country for a reason. And as an American, I am very confident in the process, and I think it should scare people that we have a party that is willing to do anything to stop a nomination and to halt a process that has been proven time and time again to work.
You have to say to yourself, okay, I'm Dianne Feinstein. I had an opportunity when I got the letter 3 months ago to not only bring it up during the first round of the hearings, but she also met with Judge Kavanaugh privately in her office, we understand, for over 2 hours. You would think that in that period of time, she would have redacted the name, right, if it was a privacy issue, blacked out the name, handed him the letter and said, Judge, I'm very disturbed by this. Can you walk me through what this is? Can you explain it? Can I understand it?
Right.
She never did that. So then you have to say, was the object to get to the truth and get to the bottom of it? Or was the object simply to derail the nomination and stall to the midterms? And then if that were to happen, you know, come January, win or lose, the Democrats would then say, well, we have to wait until 2020 to seat anybody, and we would go on with theirs.
I think people are really understanding how important the midterm elections are coming up. I want to talk to you about that because I try and impress on people all the time. If you voted for Donald Trump in 2016, the most important thing you can be doing is getting out and voting in the midterm elections and voting for Trump-supporting Republicans. What is your message to people out there about the midterms?
You have to make believe it's 2020. That's what I'm saying. But there is a huge risk here because a lot of the Trump base that came out, Laura, for your father-in-law, for President Trump in 2016, are not your normal Republican voters that show up every day. A lot of them are independents. A lot of them were Ds. A lot of them just really don't participate in the process. They came out, and they came out in droves. Now, getting them back is a tall order. And so that's why the president is doing all these rallies, because a lot of Trump voters, if Kavanaugh goes down and they see the Republicans not even having the backbone to stand behind him, they're going to say, you know what, the heck with them. I'll just wait until 2020. That's why this is so critical.
Yeah, people come up to me all the time and say, please thank your father-in-law for me. And my message to people is if you want to thank the president, the best way to thank him is getting out and voting for people that are going to support him in Congress. Because there's no doubt that if the Democrats get a hold of things, his entire agenda comes to a screeching halt. All the incredible changes we've seen in this country in a year and a half under Donald Trump will immediately stop. And make no mistake about it, they will try to impeach him. Now, you have listeners from all around that listen to you. What do you think they feel about kind of what you're saying with their feelings towards the president, their feelings towards the GOP, maybe their feelings towards the media and Democrats? What are you feeling out there right now?
Well, the economy is doing so fabulous that a lot of my listeners don't want to screw it up, because I have a very blue-collar, working-class audience. And they don't want to jeopardize this economy. That's basically the biggest message that they have. I mean, many of them have jobs or they didn't have jobs, but a lot of them have better jobs and they've gotten raises. But this is the other thing. They feel secure about their future today where they did not 24 months ago.
Right.
That's one of the biggest differences. So what the message is, you know, if you want to go back to Mama, which is make America miserable again, then go back to the Democrats.
I haven't heard that.
That's my thing, because that what they'll do is they will repeal the tax, the tax incentives. They'll repeal
absolutely.
the tax.
They said they were going to take back the tax
They'll put the regulations back up.
Yeah.
They'll do everything to gum up the economy, which is roaring. And so, but they want you to be miserable. Look, we've had people in the media who say, you know what, if we just had a recession, wouldn't that be great? We can get rid of the Republicans or get rid of Trump. I mean, it's insanity.
They'd rather this country do poorly than see this president succeed. Not to mention, actually, something that the president mentioned in his UN speech was socialism. He talked about how detrimental it is to countries to be under a socialist agenda. And we see right now that within the Democrat Party, you have a lot of socialists rising to the top that have won the primaries in many cases throughout the states. People have not fully embraced how bad socialism would be if we had that system here in the United States of America. Forget having your own money, forget making your own choices on things. It is the worst thing that could happen to our country. All you have to do is look at Venezuela. They used to be booming. It is a complete disaster now. You got to pay attention to what these people are saying, because if you are voting with a socialist agenda, it is possibly the worst thing that we could see happen in this country. It's really scary to me personally.
Well, we have a socialist candidate in not far from where we are now, the Bronx, who the chairman of the Democratic National Committee, Tom Perez, lauded and said, this is the future of the Democratic Party in America. And
Insane.
She's an avowed socialist. I mean, it's absolute insanity. And they've not even backed off on that. And Ms. Cortez has gone out fundraising for Democrats all over the United States with a socialist agenda. Someone on the radio called in the other day, and it was very interesting. It was an older lady, and she says, what is going on right now with the Democrats is what the Democrats did to Barry Goldwater in the 1964 campaign in scaring people that he was just too far one way. And she said, I'm a Democrat, and she said, I'm embarrassed to vote for anybody in my party.
Yeah.
I voted for Clinton, but now I'm done because the economy's great, and I've had it with the whole thing. And what they're espousing is nothing like what my Democratic Party stood for back in the day. So these are the things that I think they're overplaying their hand, and it's going to really come back on November 6th and backfire on them. That's why if Kavanaugh is confirmed, I think the Republicans hold the House by 3 or to 5, and I think we can gain 5 to 6 seats in the upper chamber.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, John, thank you so much for coming on today and being in Studio 45 with us. Thank you for fighting every day as a patriot. We appreciate it, and we hope to have you back soon.
Thank you for having me, Laura. Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching today, too. The Democrats' radicalism may have no limits, but the success of the Trump agenda is proven to have no end in sight. That's the real news for today. I'm Lara Trump, coming to you from Trump Tower in New York City. Goodbye, everybody.